Good morning, everyone. Today we're talking about a health topic that affects millions of people, yet it often stays hidden in the shadows due to embarrassment. I'm talking about urinary incontinence, which is the medical term for losing control of your bladder. It's important to know that this is not a disease itself, but rather a symptom of an underlying medical condition. It means that urine leaks out when you don't want it to, whether it's a small dribble when you cough or a sudden urgent need to go that you can't hold back. It's incredibly common, especially as we get older, but I want to be very clear about something right from the start. It is not an inevitable part of aging that you just have to accept. Many people mistakenly believe that having bladder leaks is just a normal sign of getting old, like getting grey hair or wrinkles. This is a myth that we need to bust. While it is true that the chances of experiencing incontinence increase with age, it is a treatable medical issue. Think of it like high blood pressure or high cholesterol. They are more common in older adults, but we have effective ways to manage them. The experience of incontinence can vary greatly from person to person. For some, it might be a very minor inconvenience, happening only occasionally with specific triggers like a hearty laugh or a sneeze. For others, it can be a much more significant challenge, involving a complete loss of bladder control that happens frequently and unexpectedly. This unpredictability can lead to feelings of anxiety, isolation, and a reluctance to participate in social activities. The good news, and the main message I want you to take away today, is that there is so much that can be done. Medical science is constantly advancing, and our understanding of how to manage and even cure incontinence is better than ever before. So what is actually happening in the body to cause these leaks? The reasons can be complex and are often a combination of factors. As we age, the muscles that support our bladder, known as the pelvic floor muscles, can weaken. Think of these muscles as a hammock that holds your bladder in place. When that hammock becomes stretched or weak, it can't provide the support needed to keep the urethra closed tightly. This is a very common reason for what we call stress incontinence, where physical pressure from coughing, lifting, or exercising causes a leak. It's a simple mechanical issue that has very real consequences. Another major cause relates to the bladder muscle itself. The bladder is a muscular sac that stretches to hold urine and contracts to release it. In some older adults, this muscle can become overactive, meaning it contracts involuntarily even when the bladder isn't full. This creates that sudden, overwhelming urge to urinate, a condition known as urge incontinence or overactive bladder. Recent research in 2025 has highlighted how changes in nerve signals between the brain and the bladder contribute significantly to this. As we age, these communication pathways can become less reliable, leading to mixed signals and a bladder that seems to have a mind of its own. Certain medical conditions that are more common in seniors also play a big role. For example, conditions like diabetes can cause nerve damage, which can affect bladder control. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and strokes can interfere with the brain's ability to send the correct signals to the bladder. For men, an enlarged prostate is a very frequent culprit. The prostate gland surrounds the urethra, and as it gets bigger, it can block the flow of urine, leading to overflow incontinence, where the bladder never fully empties and constantly dribbles. Finally, we have to consider temporary or reversible causes. Urinary tract infections, or UTIs, are a classic example. They can irritate the bladder and cause strong, sudden urges and leakage. Constipation is another surprising factor, and even some medications can have side effects that impact bladder control. Knowing the symptoms is crucial because it helps you communicate more effectively with your doctor. The most obvious sign, of course, is leaking urine, but how and when it happens tells a big part of the story. One of the most common types is stress incontinence. You might notice a small amount of urine escaping when you laugh hard at a joke, sneeze during allergy season, cough when you have a cold, or lift something heavy like a bag of groceries. The stress here is physical pressure on your bladder, not emotional stress. It happens because the muscles supporting your urethra aren't strong enough to stay closed under that sudden pressure. Then there is urge incontinence, which feels very different. This is characterized by a sudden and intense need to urinate, followed almost immediately by an involuntary loss of urine. You might be sitting quietly watching television and suddenly feel an overwhelming urge that sends you rushing to the bathroom, but you don't always make it in time. People with this symptom often feel like their bladder is in charge. They might also find themselves needing to go to the bathroom very frequently, sometimes more than 8 times a day. and may even be woken up multiple times during the night with the same urgent feeling. Another important symptom to recognize is what we call overflow incontinence. This happens when your bladder doesn't empty completely when you urinate. As a result, it gets too full, and the excess urine overflows in the form of frequent or constant dribbling. Finally, there's functional incontinence. This is a bit different because the bladder and urinary system may be working perfectly fine. The problem lies with a physical or mental impairment that prevents you from getting to the bathroom in time. It is essential to identify which type of symptoms you're experiencing, or if it's a mix of types, as this will guide your doctor in recommending the most effective treatment plan tailored just for you. The most exciting news I have for you is that the range of treatments available today is wider and more effective than ever. We'll start with the foundation, behavioral therapies. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is bladder training. This involves gradually increasing the time between bathroom visits. You might start by trying to hold on for just 10 minutes past your usual urge, and over several weeks, you work your way up to urinating every 3 to 4 hours. Physical therapy is another cornerstone of treatment, specifically pelvic floor muscle exercises, also known as Kegels. These exercises strengthen the muscles that support your bladder and close off your urethra. A new breakthrough in 2025 is the widespread adoption of smart pessaries for women. These are soft, flexible silicone devices inserted into the vagina that provide support to the urethra. The smart versions now contain tiny sensors that monitor pressure and can provide real-time feedback to an app on your phone. For medications, newer drugs have been developed with fewer side effects like dry mouth and constipation. These medications work by calming an overactive bladder muscle, reducing the urgency and frequency of urination. For more persistent cases, there are advanced therapies that are making a huge difference. One such option is nerve stimulation. This involves using mild electrical pulses to retrain the nerves that control the bladder. One method, called PTNS, involves a very fine needle placed near the ankle to stimulate a nerve that runs up to the bladder. Another option is a small implantable device, similar to a pacemaker, that sends gentle pulses directly to the sacral nerves. These therapies can be life-changing for people who haven't found relief with other treatments, offering a long-term solution to overactive bladder symptoms. Beyond medical treatments, there are many simple lifestyle adjustments that will have a significant positive impact on your bladder control. Let's start with what you drink. It might seem logical to drink less to avoid leaks, but this can backfire. The key is to drink smartly. Sip water steadily throughout the day, rather than chugging large amounts at once. It's also wise to limit bladder irritants like caffeine in coffee, tea, and soda, alcohol, and acidic fruit juices, as these can trigger urgency and frequency in many people. Managing your weight is another powerful tool. Carrying extra pounds, especially around your abdomen, puts constant pressure on your bladder and pelvic floor muscles. Research has shown that even a modest weight loss of just 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly reduce the number of leakage episodes you experience. Quitting smoking is one of the best things you can do for your overall health, and that includes your bladder. The chronic smoker's cough puts repeated, forceful strain on your pelvic floor muscles, weakening them over time and worsening stress incontinence. Finally, preventing constipation is surprisingly important. When your bowels are full and hard, they can press against your bladder, reducing its capacity and sometimes blocking the urethra. To keep things regular, make sure your diet is rich in fiber from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These small, practical changes to your daily routine can work together to create a much healthier and more predictable environment for your bladder. If you are caring for a loved one experiencing incontinence, your support and understanding are invaluable. The most important thing you can do is to approach the topic with sensitivity and compassion. Reassure your family member that this is a common medical condition, not something to be ashamed of. Practical support can also make a world of difference in daily life. Help create a safe and accessible bathroom environment. This might mean installing grab bars, raising the toilet seat, and ensuring there is a clear, well-lit path to the restroom, especially at night. Choosing the right incontinence products can greatly improve comfort, dignity, and hygiene. The market has come a long way from bulky adult diapers. Today, there are a wide variety of discreet and highly absorbent products that look and feel much like regular underwear. Above all, encourage independence and focus on what your loved one can do. Incontinence can make a person want to withdraw from social activities and hobbies they once enjoyed, help them feel confident enough to continue living a full life. This might involve planning outings around restroom availability or packing a small, discreet go bag with extra supplies. Celebrate small victories and focus on managing the condition, not letting it define their life. In closing, I want to circle back to the most important message of all. You do not have to live with the limitations and anxiety of urinary incontinence. It is not a personal failure, and it is most certainly not a normal part of aging that you must simply endure. The advancements in our understanding and treatment of incontinence, especially the breakthroughs we've seen leading into 2025, are truly remarkable. From smarter, more comfortable devices to targeted therapies that retrain nerves and muscles, we have more tools in our toolkit than ever before. The journey to better bladder control is a partnership between you and your healthcare team, and it's a journey filled with optimism and real possibilities for improvement. Remember the power of small steps. Incorporating lifestyle changes can begin to make a difference right away. Whether it's playing with your grandchildren, traveling, or simply enjoying a long walk, you deserve to live your life to the fullest. So please, if you or someone you love is dealing with bladder leaks, make that appointment. You are not alone in this experience, and there is a clear and hopeful path forward. By seeking help, you are not just treating a symptom, you are reclaiming your confidence, your freedom, and your quality of life. And that is a breakthrough worth celebrating.